I was running away from home for very many years. And I used travel as a kind of escape to, I guess, just tap out of responsibilities and avoid my feelings and dissociate from things. I have now really discovered that it is through facing your past and through returning to where you came from, your core, your home, that you can really learn some lessons that you're not going to learn on the road. I have a theory that sometimes you learn more on the return. Let's talk about it. Hey, I'm Rochelle Fox, and you are listening to the Mindspo podcast, and this is my I Have a Theory series. And in today's episode, I really want to unpack why it is so important to pause and sometimes retrace our steps in order to move forward. Now, this may sound contradictory to some of the other advice that I've shared on this podcast, because I'm always telling you things like, don't look back, you're not going there, keep moving forward. And I think that's true for a lot of things. Sometimes I feel like we can really, put ourselves in this kind of procrastination and this analysis paralysis because we focus on the past too much, and that can paralyze us moving forward. However, when it comes to healing and growth and just our own progress as a person, I do think it is really important sometimes to pause and to return home, whether it be physically or metaphorically. Returning to your roots is something that will generally teach you more than trying to extend your branches. And that is because your roots, your core, where you came from, the foundations of yourself, your career, your creativity, or whatever it is that you are doing, that is where everything stemmed from. And I feel like sometimes when we are so future focused and when we are so in the pursuit of whatever it is that we are going for, we can lose connection with the reason why we started. We can lose connection with our true self, our true essence, and really our deeper purpose and, where we came from as people and how that shaped us and how that made us into the person that we are today. So the reason I'm actually inspired to share this episode with you is I'm currently at home. I am sitting, if you're looking on video, you'll notice this is not a normal Rochelle background. I'm sitting at my parents' place. I'm actually in my old adolescent bedroom, and I'm going to be here for the next week. And I made a decision to come here for the next week because while I'm in Sydney, I'm on holidays. I'm hardly ever here. If you are new to the podcast, I'm a digital nomad. I'm from Oz originally, but I haven't lived in Australia for over 10 years. And every now and then I like to come back. I like to visit. I like to pop in. And when I've done that over the last few years, I haven't really spent much time at home. I haven't spent time with my parents and really just been in their company as much as what I'd like to. They're getting older now, and I've changed a lot, they've changed a lot, and I'm really at this stage in my life where I want to reconnect. I want to spend that quality time with them. And every single time I come back here, I notice how much I've changed and how much they've changed. And it always reminds me of this beautiful quote, which is, no man can ever step into the same river twice, because it will not be the same man and it will not be the same river. And this is why when we return to the places that we've been in life or the foundations or the things that we've learned, we can really integrate and understand things on a much deeper level, because we arrive to these places or meet these people as different versions of ourselves. And these places and people are also different versions of themselves. They're always in flux. And I came actually home to stay with my parents because I am in the process of finishing two really big projects. One of them is my second book proposal. Yes, exclusive, on the Mindspo podcast. You heard that right here, right now. I am writing my second book proposal. I actually started writing it a really long time ago. I started writing it while I was writing my first book, Magnetic, and I came up with the idea and the title, and I had a very, very clear vision of where I wanted to take things. But it really hasn't been until now when I've really lived my second book, and I've embodied and experienced it, that I feel really ready to put it out there and put in the proposal and see what the universe says to it. And so that's one really big thing that I'm working on. And I want to mention here, if you are listening to the podcast and you're like, oh my gosh, you're writing a second book, I would love to write my first book. And a book has like always been a dream of yours. I want to do a little shout out here that I am actually running my first ever writer's retreat. And it is coming up this year. It is in May. We are going to Tuscany in Italy, and it is an 8-day, 7-night retreat. And it is designed to help you cultivate your story and create space for you to really let that inner genius be born and come out and express itself. And this retreat is actually really special because not only is it a retreat, but it is also a monthly residence where everyone that joins the Writers Retreat is going to be meeting for group writing sessions this year. So if you are someone who wants to write a book, if you have a creative project that you are itching to be born, it could be a Substack, it could be a blog, anything writing based, I would love to invite you to come and join that retreat, that experience. I've hardly mentioned it and I'm so freaking excited about it. For me, this feels so full circle. It is something that oh my God, I really wished when I was writing my first book that I was around other writers, because writing a book can be so isolating and it can just be the weirdest experience to do because there's hardly anyone out there that has written books, and I want to be able to mentor and support other people on their creative journey. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to put all the details down below. We'll be writing our books together, which would be so freaking cool. So I'm writing my second book proposal here. I'm finishing it up, and I'm also working on my Mindspo teacher training. So I mentioned this a few episodes ago, but I am launching the first ever cohort of the Mindspo teacher certification. This is a meditation and regulation teacher training with visualization as well. It is for people that really want to step into their power and become leaders, coaches, mentors in the mental wellness space. And it is going to be such an incredible program. I have been wishing and waiting and manifesting, like birthing this whole entire certification for years now. And this year is actually 10 years of mine. So it just felt so aligned. The year of the fire horse. I am so ready to be a mentor to others. And I'm mentioning those because these are the two massive new endeavors that I am currently working on. And it's funny that while I'm in the process of birthing these incredible new things, being at home with my parents feels like the right place to be. It feels like the best place to nurture my creativity. And that is really strange for me to say because for very many years, I would have done anything not to be at home. I feel like I was running away from home for very many years. And I was someone that was very avoidant of my family and things in my past. And I used travel as a kind of escape to, I guess, just tap out of responsibilities and avoid my feelings and dissociate from things, if I'm very honest and call myself out. I was a master dissociator, something I have now improved massively. I have now really discovered that it is through facing your past and through returning to where you came from, your core, your home, that you can really learn some lessons that you're not going to learn on the road. You're not going to learn when you are in the pursuit of things. It is really sometimes when we stop, when we slow down, when we press pause on moving forward, that we can actually propel ourselves forward. Because something I've learned over the last few years is that there are many different types of progression. We have mental progression, then we have somatic progression, and that is really the capacity of your nervous system, your ability to hold more, to experience more, to be alive more, to feel more pleasure, more joy, more pain, more anger. Like that is a form of progression, and it is a very real form of progression that I feel for me is what I have been progressing the most in over like the recent years, because I had so much mental progression in my life, so much cerebral progression where I knew everything mentally, but my nervous system hadn't yet caught up. And then you have spiritual progression where you are just seeing things from a new perspective, from a new light, from a new sense of wisdom and integration, and maybe even sometimes from a different level of consciousness. And it's funny because I do very much feel like when we return home or when we return to our roots, whatever that means for you in this podcast, it really allows you to reflect where you've been and where you are now. And it also shows you where you haven't yet caught up. And this really plays into the nervous system again. And I feel like I'm going to be talking about the nervous system and somatics in so many different episodes that I'm sharing with you. Because one thing I have really learned is that a lot of the time we mentally feel like we've intellectualized the problem. We mentally feel like we've understand the lesson in our head, but we actually haven't integrated it into our bodies. We haven't actually expanded our capacity to be able to deal with whatever trigger, whatever is activating us. And I think that everyone understands how interesting it is as a child to go back home and spend time with your parents or spend time with your family, because these are the people that are so deep in your psyche. They know how to pull your strings. They know how to lift you up. They know how to push you down. They are these teachers that have been with you through every different stage of life. And they're also your programmers. And this is such an interesting thing. When we go back, and when I go back right now, when I'm spending time with my dad especially, I have this acute awareness that, wow, you are the person who programmed my subconscious mind. I was mostly raised by my dad. My dad was like a single father, and he was the one that was in control of programming me. And because I've been doing so much work on my nervous system and somatics over the last 2 years, I've started to really understand some of the ways that I regulate come from my dad. And watching him and observing him and just being in his presence is making me so acutely aware of some of the behaviors that I do that are very positive, and then some of the behaviors that I do that maybe aren't so positive that I would like to adapt and expand on, that really come from how he regulates. And it's so interesting because it's only in this return that I am learning these lessons. And it makes so much sense of where I've been, where I'm going, and like why I am the way that I am. And I think that a lot of the time we try and kind of avoid this path in life where we try and bypass like where we came from. And I think this is really, really rampant in society. Like so many people try and forget their past, forget where they came from, ignore their pain and ignore their trauma. And that is something that I did for years. I really ran from a lot of the things that triggered me. And it got me so far in my healing. But it is only until I'm able to come home and actually have capacity and space to hold for the things that maybe used to trigger me in the past that I can actually say, I've grown. I've learned the lesson. I know how to handle this now because I'm coming home with a completely different capacity for life. And I want to call you out while you're listening to this podcast. And I want you to reflect on this question today. Where have you intellectually learned the lesson? Where have you intellectually grown and matured and changed and transformed, but somatically haven't actually increased your capacity? Somatically, actually, you don't feel different. And I'm going to give you some examples of what this means. So you might understand patterns from your past and subconscious programs that you learned from your parents around scarcity or money or success. And you might be able to tell me all about the issue, and you might be able to tell me all the mindset tricks and tools that you've been able to do to change it. But unless somatically in your body you have changed your relationship with that thing, unless you can face that challenge and feel a sense of neutrality, a sense of capacity, a sense of, yeah, I'm able to handle this. Yeah, I've got this. Then I don't really think the lesson is integrated. And one of the ways I actually learned this myself was last year I came home, and it was with my mom that I actually had an experience where I really learned the hard way through my body that there were some things that I had learnt mentally and that I had forgiven and gotten over mentally, but somatically my body was not in the same space. It was like the thoughts that I was having versus the body reactions I was having were completely different. And that really taught me, wow, there is more work to do here. Wow, there is more growth that needs to happen. And I want you to understand that, like, intellectually knowing something, intellectually understanding something, and just being in the pursuit of moving forward, learning more things, taking on more knowledge, doing more mindset work, that isn't necessarily moving you forward if your nervous system isn't expanding its capacity, if your nervous system isn't feeling safer, calmer, more regulated, and even just more alive. Because the aim of nervous system work isn't just to feel calmer, neutral, or numb. definitely not numb. It is actually to feel a sense of aliveness, a sense of emotion, a sense of capacity, and this ability to move from one state to another, and to do it in a way that is fast and adaptive and doesn't make you feel like you're getting stuck. And this is something that I'm seeing in the healing space, where so many of us are in this pursuit of going, especially with AI. We are moving forward, we are pursuing, we're going, we're learning all of the things. And it's like course, bang, 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 bang. And it's okay, that's great. You're taking on all the knowledge, you're learning all the things, but where are you actually doing the integration? If you're constantly just focused on moving forward, but you're never returning, if you're never going back to the foundations, if you're never pausing, then you're not integrating, you're not actually embodying what it is that you are learning. And knowledge without embodiment is just overload. I'm going to be honest with you. It is just overload. It is just system overload. I'm in a space in my life where I do not want to learn anything else without taking the time to really embody it. For me, it's not about knowing all the things. It's about being a shining example of the things, being an actually embodied leader. Like that is so important for me. And I really want to remind you, in this day and age, at the pace that everything is going at, it is not the people that know the most, but actually are embodied the most that are going to move forward in their careers, in their life, in their just enjoyment for everyday moments, because it's not a knowledge game anymore. Everyone can know, everyone can get the information. It is really about being that unique essence that is you. It's about being embodied. It's about being a human in all of your messiness. It's not just about getting all of the things and having all of the things. It's actually about being the thing, right? And you don't have to be all of it. You just have to be in it. You've got to be in the human experience. And gosh, it's so interesting because coming home, being at home, in some ways going backwards, because it always does feel backwards. It's so weird, like staying at home. It feels like, oh my gosh, I have regressed like 15 years. I'm now staying at my parents' place. But it is in that returning home that so many of these downloads come to me. And I'm so reminded that I need to rest. I need to recenter. I need to just be grounded in this space and reflect on what I have learned and reflect on where maybe I need to stop learning and where I need to embody more and where I need to expand my capacity more, maybe where I need to celebrate how far I have come. And that's another thing. I really think that we are in the pursuit so much of so many things these days, where we are, moving so fast that we're not celebrating the little things. We're not taking the time to pause and really recognize how far we have come. My friend, really ponder that first question that I asked you. And then I want you to ponder this question. What is it that you need to return to? Is it a book? Is it a course? Is it a passion? Is it a place? Like, where do you need to return to really do some integration? Is there somewhere that you can go to really just be in the energy of something that maybe you whizzed through or maybe you avoided? For me, when I think about this, there are certain books that I've read and I'm like, wow, I really need to go back and read that book. I need to sit with those words and read it as the person I am now and see how it lands. And it's so interesting because obviously I brought out a book now, Magnetic, and it's been out for a year, like as of last week. And so many people have been messaging me saying that they're on the second and third read of Magnetic. And the feedback that I've been getting from everyone that is rereading the book is wild. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, I learned so much more on the second reread. Isn't it crazy how fast we're always moving, that we're just trying to get to 52 books a year, or we're trying to get, this many Instagram posts up or this many things up, or we've got some kind of goal to get some amount of things. But in doing all of the things, we're not actually integrating everything that we're taking on. And it is in the integration that the lessons really land. So where do you need to return to integrate? Why did you click on this podcast today? I believe it is because there is something that you need to return to integrate, to learn from, to show up as the person you are now, which is not the same person who did whatever it is that you're thinking of, who read the book, who saw the person, who went home, who went to that place, or that did that course. It's really about returning back as the person you are now and seeing What else is there for you to learn? What did you miss? Where do you need to really integrate whatever it is that you experienced? So I know this one was a bit of a different podcast. I feel so nostalgic sitting in my bedroom, and it just felt like a serendipitous download that I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and if you are returning to something and something hit, please leave me a comment down below wherever you are listening. And don't forget to rate the podcast as well wherever you are listening, because I gotta say that your ratings and your reviews, they are helping so much. I have so many goals and dreams for this podcast in 2026 and beyond. I'm planning to bring on some really big guests later in the year, and your support and your comments and your ratings, they really, really help the mission. As always, everything that I mentioned is down below in the description box. If you want me to be your mentor in 2026 and help you become a teacher in meditation, regulation, visualization, if you are ready to step into your role as a leader, you want to run retreats, you want to start an online business, and you want a mentor that has done it all before and has been doing it for a decade, I would love to be your mentor. We actually are doing calls with everyone that wants to join. If you want to have a clarity call to discuss your goals and to see if the Mindspo certification is right for you. So details for that is down below in the description box. And then of course, my writer's residence, oh my gosh, happening in Italy in May. That is going to be amazing. I've never been to Italy, by the way. I feel like my soul has been there and I'm returning. It's going to be wild. So we are doing that in May. Details for that are down below as well. Anyway, I'm sending you so much love. As always, thank you so much for listening. And never forget that you create your own reality. So my friend, go out there and make some freaking magic.